Ugh. Oh dear. That smells nice. I love the smell of catalytic converter in the morning, or in the evening, come to that matter, because it is actually evening. Believe it or not, it's January. We're still actually in January, and I'm actually supposed to be going out to get some fuel. But while I'm here, it's such an absolutely lovely evening. I thought, I'm going to go for a ride. So I'm going to go for a quick ride. And while I'm on my quick ride, I'm going to have a chat with you guys. Now, I've got some plans for 2017 with both Scarlett and the channel. I'm feeling great today. My brain has actually finally shut up to allow me to concentrate. Although yesterday, I've got to say yesterday, well, saying that, I'll go into a tangent. I always do that. It's one of those things. I'm trying my best to sort that out. But unfortunately, that might be one of the kind of quirks you have to put up with me. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yesterday was a complete disaster. I got a video sorted out in the end. Got it edited. I'm saying a lot again today. And went home. Yeah, went home, got it edited. Sent it over to get encoded. And for some strange reason, it didn't encode properly. And the video that I uploaded was not the video that I edited. It was actually something else. So I had to delete that. I had to re-encode it overnight. Unfortunately, I was at work last night, so I had to wait until this morning before I can upload it. But it's there. It's there now. So it's there. So I'm back on track. Hopefully, I can get caught up with a lot of things. But anyway, getting back to this lovely little conversation, this lovely evening ride, it's about 7 degrees. It's beautiful out here. It's almost like a spring evening, although it is a bit dark, but it is almost like a spring evening. So 2017, there's a lot of stuff that I want to get done, and this is one of the things why I'm learning about goals and goal setting, so that I can try and organise my lovely brain and get things on schedule. Now, one of the things I want to do is I want to do some work on Scarlett. I want to do some modifications on Scarlett, and I've been looking into that just recently. Now, one thing that I have found, which I quite like the look of, is a digital dashboard, and it's a very small digital dashboard, and it's going to give me a couple of options. I can either replace the clocks that I've got there, which is behind my tablet, which you can see there, which I'm going to go through a lot of this stuff later on as I'm going through the series, through to 2017. So the clock can either replace the clocks, you can actually go where the clocks are, or alternatively I can fit it, because it's actually designed to fit onto the handlebars. So if you've got a conventional bike which has conventional handlebars, not clip-ons, because obviously the VFR has clip-ons, it would go in the centre part, which I don't think you can see very well because it's not exactly very light, but it goes basically where the centre part, in between what's called the risers. I think you Americans call that the triple tree clamp. We call it a yoke, or headstock, or head bearing. I have no idea why you guys call it a triple tree. And yoke, I'm assuming that's because it looks like a yoke on a plane. So that's the only reason that I'm thinking it's called a yoke. A headstock, well, that's pretty standard because it's the head of the bike. Thank you. Cheers. So I've got that option. So instead of having it where my clocks are, I can have it here a bit further. Now what I thought was, if I put it, I can get a conversion kit which will convert the VFR to conventional handlebars, I suppose, to clip-ons. Now, that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, I don't know yet, because it means that I could potentially raise up my handlebars and have them a bit higher. I don't know if I want that yet, but the other thing I've thought of is that I can always cut the handlebars in half, or chop the ends off basically, and have a very short stump in the middle. I put the clip-ons back on and have the speedo, the digital speedo, literally in the centre of my head bearing, which I, think I quite like the idea of, and it's quite small, so it'd actually be about here, if you can see that, just there. Which means then I can put my tablet where my clocks are, and can have my tablet right in where my clocks are. So that will give me much more functionality over a variety of things. It'll help me with a lot of the things I want to talk about, because I can actually put on to the tablet a Word document and use them as prompt notes, scripts, etc. So I'll be able to read it quite clearly, and hopefully I should be able to read it clearer if it's down there by the speedo as opposed to where it is at the moment. And now the reason that I've got that is I like the idea of modifying a motorcycle. I like the idea of being different when it comes to modifying a motorcycle and doing, everybody does usually the same thing. Obviously the exhaust pipe, you can turn it into a naked Street Fighter type. I'm trying to work, what the hell's he got in the back of his car? He's got he's got a ski mask. That kind of effect, or that kind of direction. The other thing is, it says, don't ask me again. Why do you keep asking me? I've completely lost my train of thought now, because I'm actually looking at these cars to see where they're going. Come on, brum brum cars, get out of my way. You're in my way. Come on. Come on. Come on now. There's a good car. There's a good car. Excellent. Right. Oh, hello. Ooh. Yeah, what was I saying about modifications? Yeah, most people do the usual standard modifications. I like to be a little bit different. Obviously, I look and see what's around and think, okay, I'll try something slightly different. And that's what I want to plan. That's what I want to do. I want to do something slightly different. So I want to put the other reason about put the digital dash in is it gives me a gear indicator as well, which is what I'd like. Now, one stumbling block that I have actually come across, which has actually kind of poo-pooed me, is the fact is that I can't get any customized switches, which is really strange. I've only got the stock switches. There are some out there, but I'm not. I'd like to have a balanced match, and that's the difficult bit, is finding a balance and actually replacing everything that's on there. There's all the members of public walk across the road while I'm talking, and everybody thinks I'm a complete lunatic, because I am. Why won't you do anything? Stop being a pain in the bum. I'm trying to test you. Add shortcut, don't add shortcut. Be like that then. See if I care. Ooh. I am still going to do, obviously, the usual modifications. One thing I do want to do is I want to stick... oh, that van's coming my way. I want to stick silicone hoses. I found some silicone hoses, a proper silicone hose set. So I want to upgrade my hoses and stick them on, which would be nice. Which will aid in cooling the beast down. I'm also going to change... You can get some... I think it's called Evans... I'll try and put the link in there, but you can get something called Evans waterless coolant. It's just literally designed for vehicles and motorcycles, and it's designed to operate at really high temperatures. And it's very good for aluminium engines because it prevents what's called overboil or afterboil. which is basically where, because the engine's still hot and the fluid's not moving around, it tends to still heat up the engine, heat up the water, heat up the coolant, consequently causing it to, boil away at the head and sometimes damaging the head. It's quite a common problem, actually, believe it or not, in the MGs. I had an MG ZT and it was a common problem. So I changed over to this Evans cooling, this waterless coolant system, and obviously that fixed it, which is quite good. So that's one thing I want to do. I want to change the exhaust pipe. I've been looking at exhaust pipes. I also need to give her a good clean. She's filthy. So next year as well, I'm going to have to strip her down and give her a good clean after winter, during the summer times. So yeah, looking at exhaust pipe, one thing with the exhaust pipe is that the one I'm going to go for is a bigger diameter, bigger bore, which means less back pressure and a little bit more horsepower. Probably only about 2 or 3 horsepower, but 2 or 3 horsepower is 2 or 3 horsepower at the end of the day. I'm looking to see if I can do anything with the throttle bodies. Getting a bit more technical now. I'd love to stick a supercharger on it, because I've seen that you can get a supercharger kit for the VFR, and there's a couple of videos on YouTube. One of them scares the bejeebers out of me, because my god, this thing with the supercharger, it seriously takes off. You watch him and he's accelerating, and the next thing you know, the rev counter's just literally flying, and so is he. So that does kind of scare me a little bit, but obviously I should be able to tune it so I can balance out where the power is supplied. It's usually the top end on this thing. There's not much in the way of the top end. When I've lost more weight, which I'm doing quite well at the moment, that was one of my goals. What the fuck are you doing? Have you no indicator? Was you not realising you was actually in the wrong fucking lane? Jeez. Yeah. So, as I lose more weight, which is ideal, and I get down to my ideal weight, obviously I'm going to look at suspension as well. Now, I think there's a place, if I remember right, this is not far from me, it's actually in Suffolk. And if I take the bike there, they will do a complete strip down on my suspension and actually match it to my weight, which I like the sound of. So that's something else that I should be looking at doing sometime in the future. Hopefully 2017, probably 2018 I might do that one. That might have to wait till 2018. So that's just basically where I am at the moment. That's some of the plans. Some of the other plans I've got is doing some reviews. I've got to get in contact with some companies and kind of take their bikes out onto my channel, which I spoke to during the Motorcycle Live show. I forgot where I was then. So that's one thing I've got to do. Another thing at the moment I'm currently looking at is cameras. They obviously GoPro have brought out the Hero 5. I've heard such bad news about the Hero 5. The other problem with the Hero 5 is that I can't connect my GoPro audio pack, my Sena GoPro audio pack, to the 5. And for some reason the Sena doesn't Bluetooth to the GoPro, which is bizarre. You'd have thought that would have been a good selling point had they done that. I think they've missed something out there. So at the moment I'm currently looking for a 3 Plus, a Hero 3 Plus Black. That's what I'm looking at the moment. I might have to kind of buy the parts and build my own, and hopefully I've got to get in contact with one of the companies actually. I'm just wondering if I get a new motherboard for the 2 cameras that I've got at the moment, because obviously they should fit, the internals should fit, whether I'll get a new serial number, which means that I can get the Hero 3 Plus downloads and upgrades. Of the 3 Plus Black, I want to get the 3 Plus Black purely because I've got spare batteries for the 3s, and because the pack that I've got is actually supposedly designed for the 3s, and it's also got Pro Tune, which is what I want, which I need Pro Tune, because I've discovered during the winter months, obviously, I'm going to have some really kind of shit, crappy videos, unless I can start working out how to actually improve them. That's my other option, is to see if there's a way of physically improving them on Premiere Pro. So not only, yeah, so I've got a lot of things that I want to get done. Obviously I want to learn more about YouTube, because I don't think I'm getting there with that at the moment. I'm watching other people, they're growing quicker than what I am. I'm using this formula, which is 1 + 1 should equal 2, but in my case 1 + 1 is actually equaling 6. And I'm not getting the kind of feedback or data that I was expecting, if that makes sense. That's more of an analytical thing than anything else. But other than that, it's going really well. So yeah, I hope you're going to look forward to these little modifications that I'm going to do. It's going to be quite interesting, because the one thing that, see, I'm good at, there's some stuff that I'm really good at, and the one thing that I'm really good at is figuring out modifications to bikes and making them easier for people to understand, if that makes any sense. I'm sure you will twig that out as I'm doing it. Apparently I'm very good at explaining things and making it easy to understand. That's apparently my superpower. It is. That's one of my superpowers. He says now, looking over his right shoulder, trying not to crash. Let's see, I'm in the wrong gear there. That's why I need a gear indicator, so I know which gear I'm in. And yeah, so guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. It's been an absolutely lovely, I can't believe it's 7 degrees and it's absolutely, it feels lovely out here. I'm going to go and get some fuel now, because I do need some fuel for tomorrow. And I need to go and buy some bread as well, because I'll run out of bread. I will see you next Tuesday, which I'll get some more videos out at the weekend. I'm hoping to get now my kind of brains back into organisation mode again. I'm trying to get some videos out, or videos done this weekend for next Tuesday, and get back on track, so I'm not leaving things to the last minute. He says. Anyway guys, don't forget you can stalk me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, and tweet me at Nige-Rider. If there's anything particular you want me to talk about, please send me a message. And oh, I must apologise, I was meant to do a competition which was for a Lenovo tablet, and it didn't quite work out very well. Whether it was a case of people didn't understand the criteria or what, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to look into that. I might have to rerun it. I do apologise, and I'll apologise to everybody else. So yeah, so if you were waiting upon the information for that, I do apologise. It might be a case of that I'm going to have to rerun this competition at the end of probably next week. But stay tuned. Keep an eye on my social media accounts to see what's going on with that one. And I will catch you lot next Tuesday. I'm going for some fuel, and I'm filtering like a boss, because I can. Look at all these cars, they're stuck.